Hello, everyone. Good afternoon or good morning, depending on what time you're watching this video. My name is Teacher Kent, and today we're just going to have a simple review about the scientific method. But first, I will show you a simple presentation. I will just share my screen. Here you go. Okay, first and foremost, before I talk about the scientific method, I would like to tell a little story involving this person. Where is this person? Yes, this person right here, jumping down and going under the tree. Now, for those who know, this is Sir Isaac Newton. And he discovered gravity when an apple fell on his head. But when I teach that story to my students, they already know the story. It's very, very popular. So I made my own story about Sir Isaac Newton. Okay? One day, there was a durian tree, and Sir Isaac Newton was just sitting down under the durian tree. When suddenly, boop, the durian fell on his head. And what happened to Sir Isaac Newton? Well, Sir Isaac Newton went to the hospital because a durian fell on his head. Now, while Sir Isaac Newton was in the hospital, he was thinking. He was slowly thinking, why did the durian fell on his head? Or a better question is, why do things go down when you throw them up? And does everything go down when you throw them up? So, Sir Isaac Newton wanted to know the answer to that simple question. So, what did Sir Isaac Newton do? He did what we call experimentation, or he tried to experiment. He also tries to get more research and more facts before he makes his answer. Remember, the question Sir Isaac Newton is asking is, why do things fall down when they are thrown up at the sky? So, first experiment with Isaac Newton. He went back to the durian tree. Don't worry, the durian will not fall on his head anymore. Instead, Sir Isaac Newton got a rock. And what did he do with a rock? He throw it up and suddenly it go back down and it hit Sir Isaac Newton. So, what did Sir Isaac Newton do next? He went again to the hospital because he got hit by a big rock. It's true that he got hit, but he found information. The first is, if he throws a rock, whether it's a big rock or a small rock, it will always come back down. But he tried another experiment. He tried, well, first he went back to the durian tree. He tried the rock, and we know that the rock is not a living object. So he tried a living object because the durian is also a living object. It's part of a plant, and a plant is a living thing. He tried a cat. He threw the cat up, and then the cat went down and it hit his face. And the cat got so angry he scratched Isaac Newton's face. And what did he do again? He went to the hospital because his face was hurt by the scratch in the cat. So he got more information. He found out that the cat, a living thing, if he throws it up, it will come back down to earth. So he did another experiment under the same durian tree. If you notice, he always comes back to the same durian tree. It's because he needs to make sure that in his experiment, all of the other things are constant, meaning all of the things that first happened must happen again, but he will just change one thing. And one thing that he will change now is this one. He will not throw a cat. Instead, he will throw a dog just to see if the dog will fall down. And it did. And you know what happened next? The dog became angry and he ran after Isaac Newton. He got bit, and Isaac Newton went back to the hospital because he got bit by the dog, because the dog was very angry. Why did my Isaac Newton throw me up and not catch me? So he got more data. Dogs don't fly, or dogs also come down when you throw them up. So he went to the same durian tree again. This time, Sir Isaac Newton tried with a cow. A cow. Now I know a cow is very heavy, but let's see if Sir Isaac Newton can throw the cow. Boom! It hit Sir Isaac Newton again. And the cow is very, very heavy. So Isaac Newton went back to the hospital. And at this time, Sir Isaac Newton was like, no, no more experiment. I found out that a non-living thing, such as a rock, if you throw it up, it will come back down. Also with living things, whether it be small, like a cat, or a little bigger, like a dog, or a lot bigger, like a cow. And that's when he discovered gravity. Now, let me emphasize this. Everyone, I am just joking. Sir Isaac Newton didn't really do that. The true story is he was sitting down on an apple tree and an apple fell on his head. He didn't need to go back to the hospital because it's a small apple. But it's because the story is so known already, so I wanted it to make a little bit more fun for my students. Did you enjoy my story? That story, believe it or not, is all about scientific method, or is a great example of what scientific method is. In scientific method, there are 5 simple steps. There are others that say that are 6 or 7. For me, I'll just make it easy and 5. First is the problem. Sir Isaac Newton, the first problem is, why do things go back down to earth when they throw it up? That is his question. That is his problem. So he made a guess. He made a hypothesis. He thinks that maybe some things will stay up in the sky when he throws it, or maybe all of the things will go down when he throws it. The third part is the experiment. That's when he went to the durian tree and threw the rock. The next, he went there again and threw the cat, then the dog, and finally, he threw a cow. And at which point he said, no more, no more. I don't want to get hurt anymore. He gathered data with every single experiment. He found out that non living things will come back down to earth, as well as living things, whether it be small, medium, or big. And he made a conclusion. Number 5, what he found out. He found out that everything comes back down to earth, meaning there must be some force that puts everything back down to the ground. And that force is called gravity. And that, my students, is the scientific method. I know you already know about this. I'm just reviewing it since we can't go outside because of COVID-19. But I hope you remember it well. Again, there are only 5 steps in scientific method. The first is the problem. The second is the hypothesis. The third is the experimentation or the research. The fourth is when you gather the data. And finally, your conclusion, what you found out. I hope you enjoyed listening to me today, and I hope to see you soon in class. Goodbye.